Welcome to Black Businesses Matter, a podcast about why Black businesses matter and the benefits of collaborating and advocating for Black businesses to drive impact. Each episode will cover legacy, hope, Black joy, funding sources, cultural shifts, equality, and so much more. Known as the brand maven who transforms organizations with her storytelling prowess, meet Larvetta L. Lofton, host of Black Businesses Matter.
I am Larvetta Lofton, your host and the founder of the L3 Agency.
We will provide inspiration and action while spreading some joy to a thriving community of Black business owners and leading thought leaders.
All righty, guys, you guys are in for a treat this season, this episode, because we're talking about food. And I have the pleasure to bring in, I consider her a foodie. I do. The moment I met her, she was a foodie. But I want to say this, guys. I don't know. I feel like when we think about food, we think about restaurants. We think about people who cater. But we don't think about those people that actually create food in a kitchen and guess what? Manufacture it and sends it to a grocer or to a restaurant. We don't think about that. I think when we think about our culture, we think of us as the cooks and the chefs in the kitchen and serving. We see ourselves as that. So we thought it was important in this season to really identify food engineers. These are people that are engineering food so that grocery stores have more to sell. Basically, that's the way that I see it. Or, food nutritionists, like people who are foodies in a space that they're not looking for the acknowledgement of their face, but they're looking for their brand to be known. And I think that's completely different because when you think of a caterer, you know the caterer and the food. When you think of a product, and I know if I call all of you, you all have a special product because I have a special product that I like and I buy it at a specific grocery store. I'm not going to give them no shout out because I'm about to shout out my girl that's here. So I'm going to tell you about my sister, Javon, because I think that when I give you all the story, and she is a Black business, I want to make sure because when I give you her background, it's going to blow your mind. She has lived in Taiwan. And so from living abroad in Taiwan and combining her experience as a clinical nutritionist and a caterer, Javon created a one-of-a-kind product that is not only delicious, I've tasted it is, but unites culture and differences all inside of a warm wonton as egg rolls, etc. So, guys, just think about that. I know you're thinking like egg rolls, Taiwan, Black girl. It's not true. Well, we got one. Javon's frozen food company also partners with community organizations to teach youth the importance of self-love, entrepreneurship, and cultural sensitivity in the form of What's Inside That Counts initiative. Egg rolls, etc. products can be found in selected grocery stores throughout Chicago and Chicagoland and ordered directly from their website. And I'm going to give you your website just in case you guys you all know it's food season. Selected at, in her website is eggrollsetc.com. So that's eggrolls, etc., etc.com. Her doll-like logo name is Chow On which is Javon's Chinese given name that means skillful and peace and teaches children the importance of loving themselves by incorporating healthy foods into their diets and teaching them words from, different cultures, including Mandarin and Spanish. Welcome to the show, Javon.
Thank you for having me.
I know, I'm excited. So, every time I see you, I think you should walk with some egg rolls in front of you. But it's okay. She doesn't have it today, you all, but in the studio, you all listen, she did bring me some packaging. We're going to talk about that packaging because I don't know if you all it's food season, but you may want to get this as part of your Christmas dinner. I don't know, your New Year's dinner. We like to cook during this time. So, Javon, before we dig into this business that puts you at literally the helm as a food engineer, and I say engineer, I'm going to tell you why I say that, because I believe that we have to be okay with disconnecting from caterers. And that's not a bad thing because we love our caterers. but understanding that there are just incredible people that are really engineering food for, grocery stores to be able to have. But before we dig into that, I want to know, who was Javon? I know what your name means, and I know that it has this name, but I want to know, who was Javon as a little girl?
So Javon, as a little girl, was an only child. I am an only child to my mother, who has passed away. And I was a spoiled brat. My mother was my preschool teacher. She was highly educated. I mean, she spoke fluent French, a master's degree from the University of Kumasi in West Ghana, because she was in the Peace Corps before I was born. And so I was birthed into this legacy of this strong, beautiful Black woman that reminded me of Cicely Tyson growing up. And she was my superhero. And she loved on me, She also bragged on me too. So I had to deal with that. I think that's like a big reason why I don't like to show my face now, because my mother would introduce, her daughter. She used to call me her baby doll. And she would just brag on me. She would, someone would say, but their daughter could do this. And I never forget it. She said, well, my daughter is a Red Lobster manager, after someone said their daughter was a neuroscience major. And she says, well, your daughter is just a restaurant manager. She says, yes, but not just. My baby doll is a restaurant manager for, the place with the Cheddar Bay biscuits. And I said, Mom, her daughter's better than me. Her daughter's doing bigger things than me. She said, yeah, baby, whatever, but my baby doll gives her mama free Cheddar Bay biscuits and meal. That lady and her daughter, they have to pay when they go there. So it just...
I love it.
Yeah, it was just prideful. So I could do nothing wrong in her eyes.
Yeah.
And when she passed away, all of a sudden, I had no idea not only who I was, but
how old were you when she passed away?
29.
Wow.
I did not have a boyfriend at the time, nor children. I did everything to make my mommy proud. And I still do, because I'm her baby doll, And I'll never forget, and it's just so important, because I don't know if she, was trying to prepare me for this time, but, we always have and had a connection. And even now that she's no longer physically with me,
she's with you.
She's with me because, again, she was a scientist. And I ran into a birthday card most recently, because my birthday was last month, that she gave me, the last birthday card. And I didn't think anything of it, And she said, I want you to always know that I am with you and that energy never dies. I will always be with you.
Wow.
And so moving forward, after she passed away, I ended up in Taiwan, studying abroad in Taiwan.
Oh,
so that's how I ended up there.
That's how you ended up. And so as a little girl, I like to say this, you, kind of was your mom's precious jewel.
Her joy.
And her jewel, right? Because she talked about you. She bragged about you. And I love that story merely because when we think about it from the standpoint of businesses, all of this joy that is transferred, it also helps you build a business, right? It helps you build from that. And it's interesting, Javon, because a lot of times when I talk to even, people that are in the food business, there is some connection to the family, the mom, the grandmother, their dad, it's always some connection there. And I don't know that. And, we think about food and that connection, and we think about the kitchen, right? And bringing that family. So I think that food really does bring that level of love for family. So I want to learn a little bit. So when you were in Taiwan, now, were you working for a catering company? No. Okay.
No. So my background is very unique. Every entry level position that I applied to was expedited by a leadership role.
Okay.
Literally, I would apply to be a server and end up being like a dining room manager because the owner saw something in me. So at 19, with an associate's degree, I was a clinical nutritionist for the Veteran Affairs Hospital with an associate's degree.
Okay.
Finished my bachelor's, and then before I finished it, became a food service director for a nursing home at 22. And then I applied for the Cheddar Bay biscuit place as just the dining room manager and became an assistant general manager in the door.
Wow.
23 years old, making $78,000. I bought my mother a house.
Wow.
It's just like, what could I do? And she knew I was always a chunky kid, that I just loved food, but I did not want to be a caterer or a chef.
Really? You were clear about that?
I was clear. And she was in science. We did not put two and two together like, okay, maybe food sciences.
Yeah.
Because she would take me to like the Museum of Science and Industry, and they had this whole agricultural department for food with the chickens. So she knew I was intrigued. She even, like, for my 8th birthday, brought like fertilized chickens home, and we incubated them. She was like, okay, so Department of Agriculture, she's just trying to figure it out. So
I loved it.
Yeah, so I ended up, by the time Red Lobster, on my off days in Red Lobster, started a catering company.
Okay.
Just to do something on my off days. Ended up landing as the premier caterer for the medical district and Archdiocese of Chicago. Again, starting off something small, like, no, think bigger. Mm-hmm. And did that. I was also a quality assurance auditor, so I left the Cheddar Bays, went to become a quality assurance auditor for 4 states. So I know, like, about compliancy, like, from the back end of hospitals and restaurants and that sort. And then I also interned with the USDA too.
Wow.
All before I was 29 years old.
Wow. So first of all, let me say this, because I need folks to know, and I'm not sure, but I think that my stat is right. I think Red Lobster is the number one. It is considered the number one, I guess, franchise in dining. Like, they are number one in that space. It's not fast dining. It's another casual dining. They are number one in the franchise business. And, so many people shun, on Red Lobster. And I think that speaks volume. You coming from there and now being in this place of science, right? And, creating, to me, a leading product that can be, it speaks to it, because, and then, Red Lobster also has their products, and I don't know if they still have them in the grocery store.
Yes, they do.
They do. And so just realizing that, being I just wanted to ask you, what skills that you feel like you got there that you believe are still present today?
So throughout my whole career, and I love the term engineering, but also foodie, because I call myself a foodie because I am well versed in all things food, every bit of it. Red Lobster, I learned standards and creating and policies and procedures and managing accounts. I was part of a team of a huge Red Lobster location. We were a $2.5 million store, and I helped with that. I know about throughput. I know about sanitation. I know about rotating product. I know about delivery and distribution and what that looks like. But something that I did not know is how that looks, or what that looks like as a Black woman.
Wow.
So I ended up in Taiwan because my friends, after my mother passed away suddenly, they were all concerned about my mental health. Again, only child, no man, no cat, no dog, nothing. Wow. And I just kind of like disappeared into the earth at that point. And I had an opportunity because of them. It was a dare. They said, well, you talked about how great your mother was and this, and and the things she did. You can't just give up. Here's a scholarship that we saw, and we want you to apply for it. And I'm like, well, I don't win anything. What am I applying for? And I was like, where is this? This is not China. This is Taiwan. And I applied. It was for 4 scholarships, and I received it. Wow. And I had a very strenuous 4-hour interview with the Embassy of Taiwan, downtown Chicago, like their council, like the embassy. And by the end of the interview, they said, we like you. We want you to come to Taiwan. But they would pay for me to have like a stipend. And because I was 29, I couldn't stay on a campus, but I would be introduced to a campus, a university there. So it got to the point where they said, well, where would you like to go? I said, I don't know. They pulled out a map. I closed my eyes. My finger landed on Kaohsiung.
And what's Kaohsiung?
The Arkansas equivalent in Taiwan. Southern hospitality
Okay.
is what it's known for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I landed.
And so, had you ever been to Taiwan? Never.
No.
Wow.
The only country that I visited up until that point outside of the States was Cozumel with my family.
Okay.
Literally the year before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so now we want to talk about this as a woman, right? As a Black woman who is this food engineer, who is changing the way that we see women beyond just the chefs, the cooks, from that standpoint. When you built this product, who were you thinking of when you built this food product?
So even though I had this, all food background, when I was in Taiwan, I became a student, just learning my surroundings. I literally described the experience as me being a chocolate chip and a chocolate chip cookie because, again, this was not mainland China. This was the Alabama equivalent little pocket, of Asia. And I had to get a hostel, not an Airbnb then. I had to create flashcards, hoping that Google translated correctly. Again, this was 8 years ago, the correct words. And when I got to Taiwan and got to my hostel and I locked myself in the room, and for 3 days, I stepped out just to explore my surroundings. And when I came back, my door was open. And this is important because my door was open. I'm from Chicago. I said, well, someone stole my big shoes because I thought somebody robbed me. But in turn, I looked on the bed and all of my clothes were folded nice and clean. My shoes had been clean. And I turned around and there was the lady, the owner of the hostel, and she was in the door. And she gestured for me to come to her. Couldn't speak English. I couldn't speak Mandarin. And she grabbed me real aggressive like, and she just pet me and held me. And she made the gesture from her eye to her cheek as she looked at me and then touched my eye to my cheek because she heard me crying at night. And from that point on, she let me know that it would be okay. She fed me. They helped me get like an apartment. They took me to even a woman monk that named me. My name is Chow On, which is Chow means skillful and On means peace. So like they never called me by Javon. It pretty much comforted me from the inside out. And I said, you know what, I have to create something that comfort others. And what's the better form to do it than to create a frozen comfort-filled product line of egg rolls, pot stickers, and ragoon, because it didn't matter what I looked like on the outside. It was what was inside that counts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I don't know that I knew that entire story, Javon. I mean, because you do have this level of comfort food that, to me, is a little bit more healthier to me. It's because, we think of comfort food. I mean, I'm not judging anyone. We think of everything is fried and greased with the salt pork. That's like comfort food.
Yes.
But you've created a comfort food that I think is a little less non-judgmental on us, right?
Yes.
And that we can still feel good about ourselves and I guess feel good about the calories too, right? And not having it. So tell me about egg rolls, et cetera, some of the flavors and then just helping us understand what your customers say about it.
Yeah. So when I came back from Taiwan, I actually just had like this product, this collard green with smoked turkey egg roll.
Ooh, can y'all feel that? Wait. She said that so fast. And I know because we're audio podcast, and I remember telling Katori, I said, food is always on TV shows, right? It's this. And I said, I want to challenge myself to be able to bring these food scientists and foodies to have an audio show that you could feel the food through the phone, if you're looking at the phone or the computer or whatever, and still want to say, I want to try it. So when you said that, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, ooh, turkey. Oh, my mouth is watering. So I don't know if y'all are doing that, but I'm certainly doing that right now. So just go back for the people in the back on what the flavor of this egg roll is.
So the first flavor, because when I came back from Taiwan, my grandmother passed away.
Wow.
And so a way to honor her, I created Gerts. named after her name, Gertrude. Gerts, collard greens with smoked turkey egg roll. I am not a soul food brand because I joke and say I'm not James Brown. I can't give anybody soul, but the comfort, taste, and the fresh collard greens that are hand-picked, that are cleaned, that are cooked and simmered low and slow in a savory broth with tender turkey, then cooled, delicate pieces of turkey and collard greens are nestled in between a fresh, never frozen wonton, rolled with love. And we also pair with a delicious sauce. All of our product line receive some sort of sauce, signature sauce, except for buffalo chicken.
Okay. So tell me this. We've got sauce, right?
Yes.
You know, is there a particular beverage goes well with egg rolls, etc.?
You definitely can. Definitely like a tea.
Okay.
You know, the nutritionist in me have made my products more nutritionally dense. So they are not fried.
Nice.
They are. They contain less carbs than a 6-inch sub. You can air fry them, pan saute them, bake them, and deep fry them if you choose to.
Okay.
Definitely
Can you
hibiscus
microwave?
tea. Not microwave because they're not fried.
Oh,
So
that's the difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
things that are fried or they're sprayed with a coating on the outside that will allow you to microwave.
Got it.
Yeah, and we haven't like dipped into that yet because we prefer for people to choose their method of cleaning, of cooking a product.
Like for cooking the product,
For
not
cooking
warming the product. Got it.
Correct.
Got it.
So we got you started. We picked those greens. We cooked those greens or the fillings. We wrapped them. And there's no preservatives added to them. They last a year frozen, but they won't last a year frozen in your house once you buy it.
I love it. Javon was like, it won't last a year in your house. No. So I do would like to say this. Is this also a good product? And I'm saying this because I think about, young people, right? College students, really, just throwing stuff together. Do you also find that it's a good product for college students as a comfort food? I think delicacies that they could actually, enjoy on campuses.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I did mention Gert's collard greens, but egg roll, but we do have buffalo chicken, taco ole with ground chicken. It's literally like a nacho and an egg roll because tacos are comforting too, as well as lasagna. We have a spinach and cheese lasagna filled pot sticker.
Okay.
The nostalgia of being from Chicago. It's Italian beef. We have an Italian beef filled pot sticker. Nice. So these items and plant-based items too.
Okay.
Peach cobbler, egg roll. And these can be put in an air fryer. So they are healthier. When people, I definitely see college age students that are, missing, a loved one or, I'm more of a traditional person as far as like with the recipes that I've created. So, and food is subjective. Some people add onions and peppers in this. No, not in my nanny's greens. Like these are nanny's fresh greens, and some people miss that taste, especially culturally, from their auntie.
That's true.
I say,
That's true.
their auntie greens or their, their big ma's, peach cobbler.
Yeah.
And I get that even from, I was doing a demo on the west side of Chicago at a grocery store. And these young men who, if you looked at them, they had like tattoos on their faces. And the store owner was next to me and was like, you got to watch these guys. And I said, watch them do what? And I said, I'm going to get them over here and feed them some Gerts collard green with smoked turkey egg rolls. So I gestured for the gentleman to come over. I said, gentlemen, come over here. I have some, we don't, what's that? I don't even eat greens and all this. I says, well, look, it's absolutely free. If you do not like it, here's a garbage. You can spit it out. But if you like it, I want you to tell me about it and tell some people about it. By the time those young men taste the Gerts collard green with smoked turkey, and they do what other people, when they find one of my products that just really makes them feel good, they looked me in the eye and said, thank you, ma'am.
Wow.
And I said, the little tatted face baby said, call me ma'am. He said, thank you, ma'am. This was really good. How can I, so... We all need that.
Yeah.
That's why I say it's not soul, it's comfort.
I love it.
It's comfort and how, it makes you feel at ease and you close your eyes. Some people have a moment, some people say, you know what? I don't have any buyer's remorse. This really made me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the feedback that I like.
I love it. I love that, you know, there is a feel good product that, you know, thinks about or was very thoughtful. You were very thoughtful in creating a feel good because you had experienced something. And I love when that happens. So tell us, where can people buy?
Yeah, so we have received a lot of pandemonium, and you know, besides us being here on this extremely well lit podcast, yes. But the Chicago Bears, they also are promoting us too, for this season as a Small Business All Pro.
Nice,
and so we are trying to keep up with demand.
What grocery stores?
We're selected grocery stores that's listed on our website. And grocery, although it's a traditional way, to be honest, we are looking for other unique ways to, get our products out there. Our products do not belong everywhere. And they will not be everywhere, but where they are, we are appreciative. And we are open to partnering with taverns and lounges that are looking for a food item on their menu. Catering companies. We do have caterers that use our products. We sell food service, so 24-count case. Restaurants, dining halls. You know, that sort. So
even like a school could.
They're in some school food service platforms, concessions. And then, so for this holiday, because we do have 7 flavors that are out in the market, I can't guarantee that if you go to the grocery store that's listed on our website that they're going to have your favorite. They might have sold out.
That's true.
So we offer local Chicago and Chicagoland delivery. And we partner with a Black logistic company. That will deliver directly to your door. I can't get any more convenient than all the flavors and then some.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys heard it. Now go order it. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is the holiday season. This is what you do. So egg rolls, ETC, which is etc. Egg rolls with the S, etc.com. Because it's important during this time. I think during the holidays, I don't know, I try to try a new food that's different. You know, that's a little bit more healthy. I'm not a big soul food. So that's why I've always loved that. It's funny, guys, full transparency. Javon and I met at a cohort. It was with the Women's Business Development Center. And I was like, Javon, I don't like sweets. And, you know, I was like, that's not my thing. She was like, I got something for you. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm open to it. Man, let me just say this. When I tried that peach cobb, it was not so sweet. It was very savory. And that's what I do. I do like savory. I just don't like sweets. I like soulful, but I don't like I don't have to have all of the soul food. You know, I like my greens. I like my sweet potatoes. I don't want it with all the sugar, but I want a sweet potato. Like those things were important. I said, but I felt like you had tapped into people like me. Like I don't have to do so. Like if they bring another soul food restaurant, I'm okay. I'm good. I don't have to go see it. So I think there is an opportunity for people who can appreciate soul food. You know, I appreciate it because I do believe it does bring the soul in us, but it's not my go-to. You know, my go-to is comfort. I like comfort food, but this gives me a sense of like comfort in a way that is healthy. And I know it might not make sense because the world will say comfort food can't be healthy, but it can be, right?
It can be healthy, but I think more or less the feelings are more my food memories. So it's not about, you know, again, the soul, the smothered in gravy, we are a no pork company. So there's no pork, you know. We are a no pork company. So just the memories of, you know, my grandparents migrating from the South and having that garden of growing fresh collard greens on the side. That's why I chose that. Kingston's mac and cheese is not a soulful mac and cheese, but it's made with smoked white cheddar and Gouda and it's paired with the marinara.
Y'all over here like, oh my gosh. I don't know about you all, but I am over here like, yes, give me all of it. So, you know, I want to say that I know that the Chicago Bears, you are now able to do that. So are they featuring some of the products while you're at the Bears
I'm on
game?
their website. You go on their website right now, and you can see egg rolls, etc. In fact, the owner met with us, my husband and I, last Sunday. The owner of the Chicago Bears took a picture with us, congratulated, awesome. Us as small business owners. And
that's huge.
Yeah, and put us up and let us actually come on the field with the flag and be a part of the flag official flag holder for the Chicago Bears.
That's awesome.
And this is all for free.
I love it. Yeah. And here's the thing, comfort food, football food, perfect marriage. Perfect alliance. I think it's perfect. As another alternative to chicken wings, right? You can
get
have
a
this
case delivered, a 24-count case.
Okay.
Take it out of the box. Take it out of the bag. Put it in a pan and put it in the oven and chow on.
Man. So this is like the new. So Super Bowl Sunday, honey.
Yes.
Super Bowl Sunday.
Get your Italian
Now the Bears may not be in it, but still.
No. Probably not.
Probably won't be in it.
No.
But nevertheless, we can still bring the food that was with the Chicago. So we still celebrate the Chicago Bears in a different way.
I celebrate anything. I love Chicago. I love Chicago. And just like in life and in business, we win some and we lose some. But hey, I'm a winner. So you're a winner. I'm representing small businesses. We are in there. We are on their website, meaning you huge. And I. That's in there.
I love it. I love it. So I want you guys, now tell me about this cookbook. Do you have a cookbook?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, again, I say that I am all things food, well versed in food.
Yes.
During the pandemic, I wrote a cookbook.
Yes.
Self-published.
I don't know that I knew that because I need to get this cookbook. I am a cookbook. I'm a chef from afar. Okay. I'll try a dish here and there, and that's about it. But I'm on Pinterest for all of my recipes. Okay. That's I'll go there and come up with a cute recipe. But I normally do it in the cold seasons. I find a new recipe. So I'll get a cookbook to find a new recipe too.
I have to gift you one. I don't know. Yeah, we are on all platforms. Now, we're not in all grocery stores with my products. That's a whole nother podcast that I can't wait to tap into.
Okay.
But for the cookbook, we're on Amazon. We're on Walmart online. Target picked me up and some other. Yeah, it's Legacy Kitchen.
What's the name of it?
Legacy Kitchen.
Got it.
1219. And
Legacy Kitchen.
It's Legacy Kitchen 1219. Tell me inheritance of recipes from my family to yours. In 2020, when we were on punishment, inside our homes, I didn't know what to do. Like other people, we're seeing the news. We don't know when this is going to end, if it's going to end, if we are going to end, and that's how my mind was. I didn't know, so I said, well, I need to put this stuff in a book. And so I created a culinary memoir. So there's actual illustrations of like my grandfather starts off with the patriarch, then it's with the matriarch, and then it talks about my mother. It talks about, some of the bougie things we ate, such as frappe. You all remember that name? Frappe. Yeah. You were doing it real big.
Yeah, yes.
So it's finger sandwiches. My mom, who was in the Peace Corps. So there's the perfect Ghanaian rice. And there's my grandmother had friends that worked for Affluent Pizza, deep dish pizza recipes, created that recipe. That recipe's in the cookbook.
Wow.
My grandmother was a private duty nurse for a famous Chicago cheesecake person. Okay. That recipe, the original recipe, is in that cookbook.
It's in the cookbook.
Because that's what we ate growing up. Yeah, it's all, yeah.
So let me say this, guys. I don't know about you all. Cookbooks are great gifts for the holidays.
Yes.
Because there's somebody in there that's a closet chef, okay? Yes. Don't nobody know about their dishes, but they pull them out during the holidays. So certainly want you guys to get Legacy Kitchen 1219. It is on all platforms, Amazon, Walmart. Okay. And so how can people find out about egg rolls, et cetera? Give us your platforms.
Yeah, so it's the website, simple enough, egg rolls, et cetera. So it's EGGROLLSETC.
Got it. And you're on what platforms?
Everything. I'm on X.
Oh, right.
I'm on girl. X. I'm on Facebook.
Right. You on TikTok?
On Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, everything.
And so what I want you guys to take a note now. eggrolls.etc.com. Get that cookbook. This is the season, guys, of just making sure that you have products that you can purchase during the holiday season that are led by Black businesses. And we did this especially during the holidays because we find that obviously that's a time where we spend a lot of money in food. We spend a lot of time with our family, and food becomes our entertainment. And so really highlighting Black businesses that are engineers of these products to be able to show light that we're just not catering. And again, I love my caterers, baby. I can list them and love them. I love them because they are incredible. Our restaurants are incredible, right? We love all of our Black restaurants, but we feel like there should be more and not just keeping us kind of in one vertical. So it was important that we show the diversity of how food can look. Even if somebody's interested in food, they don't have to go the catering route. They don't have to be a chef, right? They can be a food scientist or food engineer. So I would love to, now I'll have to ask you this because, we ask this for every guest. Why do Black businesses matter?
So Black businesses matter to me because I personally feel like I owe my Black ancestors.
Yeah.
I feel like through my business, I'm able to express and to kind of like keep the Black culture alive. I feel specifically because I am a second generation college graduate, second generation.
Awesome.
And my grandfather, who was a Pullman porter with the 8th grade education, he could not do what he wanted to do or what he thought he had to work, Mm-hmm. So having a Black business, I feel, a successful Black business will carry on, and people are talking about my now ancestors. I mean, think about it. You said Gert.
Yeah.
She's no longer here.
But
she's still here. So it matters that we continue those legacies because the story must be told.
That's awesome. So I'm going to throw something at you because we're really bringing in, why do you think that Black foodies matter in this space now more than ever?
Because we're the best to do it.
Wow.
We're the best to do it. We can create anything out of nothing.
Wow.
We can do anything. And especially in the world of food, we created it. We can do it.
That's true.
They learned from us. I mean, we invented everything. So when it comes to food, we can mask it and duplicate it, but people can't duplicate ours. We can tell, no, that wasn't made by us. Yeah. But they can't tell that wasn't made from,
That's true.
We're the best to do it.
That's true. Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't, again, eat macaroni and cheese, but I tell anybody, if I was to go back to macaroni, it's got to be done by someone Black. I'm not interested in anything else. I'm not a big cheesy person anymore, right? So that's part of it. But I know that there's somebody else that can create that. And it's funny, Javon, I created a dish. I told you a closet chef. I wouldn't hire me if you would. I would definitely not hire me, nor would I have you, nor would I say, if, Larvetta, we can, no.
Quality assurance. You would be for quality.
I would be yes, absolutely. So I made a cauliflower dish, and it was a cauliflower casserole, but I used so I used cauliflower, I used veggie, cheese, right? So when it was done, literally my family thought it was macaroni and cheese.
Oh, yeah.
So they were like, oh, there's macaroni. So I just rolled with it. I was like, yeah, it is. Yup, it's macaroni. And they were like, oh, it's different, but I like it. It's because I knew if I had said cauliflower,
nope,
it was not, because we just, our brain is not wired that way. And so I wonder, because, when you think about egg rolls, right, you think of the Chinese way, right, of, what is it? Is shrimp? Is it beef?
Is it pork?
Yeah. So do you find sometimes hard for people to kind of undo those thoughts that it's actually greens and, turkey in there?
And it's not just Black people. We did the Taste of Chicago in 2019, sold over 8,000 egg rolls in 7 hours. And that experience, that pretty much helped me figure out that this isn't like a Black-only food. Yeah. This isn't, when they chanted best of the taste, and I had all sorts of people, hey, you want to try this egg roll because you think that this person would like that one. No, I want the collard green. Oh, okay, Mike, or Pat, you want the collard green? Sure. But no, what I get when they look at me and they see egg rolls, and my eyes, I guess, are kind of slanty. And so they, I'm getting this more and more. Well, tell me the truth. Are you? And I say, am I what? And they'll say, are you Asian? I say, you know what? The more egg rolls I roll, my eyes are becoming more slanted. And so it's just, but what's so crazy is that I have partnerships in Chinatown.
Nice.
And they love it. The people that make our egg roll wrappers are Asian as well.
Okay.
So, and they order a case of collard green with smoked turkey from me every 2 weeks.
Nice.
So I want people, again, this is a way just to, like, as an entrepreneur, I can practice my pitch. I want to make sure that I have a connection, with people, and they have a clear understanding as to what I am and what I offer. Mm-hmm. And so it's, it's comfort filled. It's not soul. It's what's inside that counts. If
That's
you
right.
like lasagna with spinach and cheese, we have a pot sticker. Mm-hmm. Well, it's a pot sticker on the outside. Well, noodles is made the same way noodles are. Mm-hmm. But when you bite into it, it's spinach and cheese inside, And
I think it's a matter, I think the thing about it is that I think the part that comes across, and this is also who you are, is education. Mm-hmm. So I think even when you think about this, there's a level of education that you're providing with it. Mm-hmm. So while it's maybe unfamiliar for your home and where you come from a cultural standpoint, I think you bring a level of education that I think helps people to undo some of that. Just to be willing to try it, right? To be willing to try it. And I think, as long as you stay open to that, right, you are exposed to a level of comfort that you never thought you would have, right? So I think that's the beauty of that. And so even today, I'm thinking to myself, I was like, I could use comfort food today because of just things that I'm, faced with, and I see the need for having it. But I'm always asking myself, right, the idea of where can we have comfort food that's healthy? And I'm just saying that for me, because the reality of it all is we know that at some point you got to go back to whatever your life is, right? You're hurting or you need to be comfort, but you've got to realize, like, is that going to really allow for you to be healthy, right? Because now we're in a different time. It's a different time right now. So I want to ask you this, Javon, what brings you joy?
What brings me joy outside of business or
whatever? It could be whatever we love to mix joy, Black joy, namely in this place of business, because we've never had the permission to do that.
So I would say definitely Black love. I am happily married to a beautiful Black man.
Yes.
And I'm blushing talking about it.
I love it.
And it's very
She
supportive.
is blushing,
I
y'all.
am
She is blushing. She is blushing. She is. And how many years?
7.
Nice.
Yeah, 7 years. Nice. And what also brings me joy is, hearing feedback from people, that have tried my product, whatever they say about it, but just the fact that they chose me and they chose to try it. And our products are not machine rolled. They're hand rolled by a team. We make them in batches. So we're able to, there's no preservatives. So I can feel there's a lot of integrity that I have in that, knowing that I didn't hide something, or I didn't create a product, that tastes like dust and people are going to eat it. But 15 minutes later, they're going to still be hungry.
So I just want to say this. Thank you for sharing with Joy. Well, I'm going to say this. The other part that I want you all to know on the back of her packaging, because I think that is important. She has ingredients that we all know and we all can identify. There's not one ingredient I'm like, I can't pronounce that. What is that? So it's collard greens, turkey, light or dark meat, smoked cooked skin and bone removed. Wonton wrappers includes egg roll wrappers, garlic powder, sugar, black pepper, onion powder, garlic, dried chili flakes, salt. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all really hear that? I just want y'all to hear that because I know you all can't see the food, but I just want you all to understand that full transparency. on the ingredients that are there that you can pronounce, that your kids can pronounce. Like, mommy, this is stuff that, oh, okay. Because kids are smart. They'll be like, no, we don't with this. We can't even pronounce this.
Yes.
So I just want to say that making sure, these Gerts collard greens, I'm going to just tell y'all need to get that. Just because around the holidays, I just think sometimes when people are dealing with grief and things that are happening, it's good to have a little bit of love that you can have, that someone created something for somebody that's passed on. So I love that legacy part.
Thank you.
So I just want to say I love that. And again, guys, this is a frozen food company. I want to make sure you all understand. I know we've been talking about this food. You're like, wait. I'm like, it's frozen food. You warm it up. You put it in the oven. No microwave. Okay, so we want to make sure that happens. She has cooking instructions on there so that you know how to properly cook this. So once again, help. For us, some of us could say that it's a recession. Some people could say that, right? But you can go pick this up, go to the website, order it, and not go out, And so I think that's the other part. We are now exercising a way that we are generating, right, income in ways where you can stay home and you can help a business. You can help a Black business. And I think that's the part that I want people to understand is that maybe you're not going out to that Black restaurant, but you're ordering a product. And I think that was part of the reason why we wanted to showcase this food show. So, guys, I just want to say, this is the first time we've ever brought food to the table of the podcast, because it's just hard to do, Javon. Because, when you think about TV shows, what do they always have? They have a food segment because that's part of it. But when you think about audio, it was like, how do we do this, right? And I was like, I wanted something that will show us food engineer and that story and why they did this. And they're not, obviously we're promoting your business, but you're not promoting, because these people, the beauty of this is we have, listeners all over the world. So they can order this online and be able to do this. And so we felt like when we said this, you have to come to Chicago and go to this restaurant. So we felt that it was important to identify some of these food engineers that were Black powered, they're powered by Black individuals. And so that people can support that way. That's another way to support. So, hey guys, I just want to say this. This is the president and creative director of Egg Rolls, Etc. Drop your website, your handles again, so everybody can make sure they connect with you.
Yeah, so the name of the company is Egg Rolls, Etc. That's www.eggrolletc.com. And you can visit our website. You can get the products delivered and Chow On.
And it's Egg Rolls, Etc. on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Just want to make sure you guys go follow them so that you can learn more about this food company, because there's so much more. Matter of fact, anything that you want to share that's coming up that you want to share?
Well, the holidays are coming up. We are open to partnering with other restaurants, even in other states.
Nice.
We are open to sharing Black wealth. Buy our product by the case and sell them at your price.
Nice.
In retail.
Nice.
So, we're interested in that. And there's a section on our website if you're looking to become a wholesale partner.
Oh,
please
nice.
let us know. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So restaurant owners, if you're listening, or even people that are connected and you want to use this as another offering
on your menu.
Yep, on
Absolutely.
your menu. I think that would be incredible. Javon, this has just been a joy to have you here.
Thank you.
To bring comfort to my heart today, because it really is comfort. She didn't have food with me, but her spirit just gives so much comfort, which is why she is, I'm going to say this, is the comfort food queen of America. Of the world. She just brings that. And I just hope that every person gets a chance to try Egg Rolls, Etc. I just want to thank you all for rocking with us. I hope you're loving this season of food, or will love this season of food. And, ultimately allow it to just inspire you. Allow for you to be able to, sit amongst friends and try a new food, get a cookbook, make a new dish, whatever your heart desires. But allow this holiday season to be powered by love and using food. So thank you guys for listening to another episode of Black Businesses Matter, and see you next week.
The Black Businesses Matter podcast is produced by the L3 Agency, a culturally sensitive influencer, marketing, and communications firm in Chicago, where relationships are our currency, passion is our profit maker, and people are our bottom line. Follow us on Instagram at Black Businesses Matter.